Millwall v Spurs, Boxing Day, 1977. Just weeks after the infamous Panorama documentary about Millwall's hooligans. This match was supposed to be a day of mayhem and carnage. But what actually happened in this second division clash? Let's get on with the stories. First, we have Spurs Yid Army member Tony, who told us, Millwall away on Boxing Day, 1977. The previous home game, Palace on the 17th, leaflets were distributed in the Park Lane saying, Millwall Boxing Day, don't bottle it, with the meeting point, London Bridge, and time for the long walk mob handed to the old den. That was not an occasion for the faint-hearted, but we had massive numbers that day. The only day that ever beat the size of that mob was Chelsea away in the FA Cup, when we took the piss from Sloane Square all the way down King's Road and walked straight into Chelsea's main lot at World's Ends and destroyed them. But that mob walking over London Bridge that morning was something to behold, though. Everyone and his dog were out on show after all the threats and Panorama bollocks. Happy days. It was a very long walk and we expected Wall to attack the closer we got, but they never did for some reason, maybe because it was too early. Paid a £5 to get in on the gate. It was supposed to be all ticket. About 5 police keeping the fans apart, and one old 5-foot blue railing fence. It had been trailed in the papers for several days beforehand that there was going to be absolute mayhem between the fans, and it never really lived up to their forecast. But there was one incident in particular shown on that night's news that I'll never forget. We were enclosed under one of the covered sheds at the ground. Some Millwall supporters got themselves onto the roof of that shed, ripped off some of its corrugated coverings, and dropped a large concrete slab onto the Spurs supporters standing under it. It was obviously pre-planned. It was a wonder that no one was killed. But apart from that, small pockets of trouble and bricks and bottles flying back and forth. But surprisingly, no major trouble inside the ground. Simply too many of us. I reckon we had 7,000 there that day. Millwall, maybe 10,000. Afterwards, we had no idea where we were or how to get back to London Bridge. Anyway, we got split afterwards at the top of Ilderton Road after the game. Think most Yids were more afraid of the consequences from our own for taking a backward step rather than fronting Millwall lot, and nobody took a backward step, even when all the artillery came our way out of the sky. Then Millwall came out from behind the flats and a major battle erupted. But after we got split up, I got chased into some gardens and had to hurdle some fences to get away. We came out on the Old Kent Road and met a mate from Hackney, so we leapt into a taxi. The next year we played them at home, March 1978. Now that was an experience I'll never forget. But that's a story for another day, maybe. Millwall bushwhacker Ian told us. I remember it well. It was just after that Panorama documentary and everyone was talking about Millwall hooligans. In the documentary, one of our boys said he hated Spurs and we were going to do them, or something like that. But the FA moved the game to 12 o'clock kickoff. I don't know about you, but Millwall don't get out of bed until 12, so a mass turnout of top boys was never going to happen. To be fair to Spurs, they turned up, thousands of them, and it was only after the match that some of our boys showed up and got in among them at the top of Ilderton Road, where they had to back off. I thought we had them on the back foot, but then the old Bill got involved and escorted them to London Bridge. Some Millwall were waiting at London Bridge, and a battle of sorts ensued, but hundreds of police managed to quell the violence. I think the Met must have had a field day with all their coppers on overtime for a Boxing Day, and probably double time paid as well. Wasn't Millwall's greatest day, but at least we had a go, which is more than can be said for Spurs at the White Hart Lane fixture in March the following year when we showed, but they certainly didn't want to know. Spurs had this big reputation, but I never understood it. Do they ever mention the League Cup game in '72 when we took their entire end? We cleaned the shelf, so to speak, but it's as though it never happened. Anyway, that's a story for another day, ain't it? We thank Tony and Ian for their recollections. It's clear that Spurs had a massive firm out for this match against a rival they didn't usually meet due to Spurs normally being in the top division. The major trouble predicted didn't happen, possibly due to the morning kickoff and lots of police, but that never seemed to stop Millwall previously, did it now? Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, as it really helps our channel grow to give you bigger, better content.